Welcome back out to the Baby Taoist. Hi, welcome back out to my Baby Taoist Ching weekly reading. And so this is going to be for the week of January 29th, Sunday, January 29th, 2023, all the way until Saturday, February 4th, 2023. So tell you what, ready? I'm going to start throwing the I Ching. So let's see here. Let's do the first one. Oh my. It's an old yin line. Okay. Let's do another one. Okay, so the second line is a young yang line. I'm going to throw this again. Another young yang line. Okay, let's throw the fourth line and oh, that's going to be a young yin line. I'm going to throw, here we go. Oh, the fifth line is a old yin line. And let's see what the sixth, the very top line is. And oh, look at that. That's a young yin line. Okay, so let's see what we have here. It looks like we have wood or wind on the bottom, and we have earth on top. Oh, that's a good one. That one is growing upward. So it's the hexagram number 46. It's growing upward. It's only one of 3 hexagrams that say that everything is ready to move forward and get promoted. So this is a really good one. And this is wood underneath earth. So it's like spring. And look at, we're in spring. So it's like this shoot that's pushing up through the earth. And so really good week here, potentially. That this is the one week where your determined effort could be in your favor. And so this could be a very productive week for you. And then let's see, it's going to change as the week goes on. It's going to change, and it's going to change to hexagram number 11. Another really positive one, which is Tai Advance, and that's Earth over Heaven. Oh, this can be a really positive one. This is Earth and Heaven are moving in their correct directions. So you know, heaven, the sun pushes downward and the earth lifts upward. So this is a great one about the conditions being in a great place for peace, for safety, for security, for good health. And, you know, like the other one, it really kind of accents this idea of you're going to keep on progressing, you're going to keep on proceeding, you're going to keep on advancing. So this is just another really nice omen for the week. And then it changes to the last one, which is going to be hexagram number 5. And here we have water above heaven. You know, there's a lot that goes with this. There's this constant idea of the need for rain. So this could say that there could be some difficulty because we need rain to nourish our crops. And so towards the end of this week, make sure to take some time to support and nourish yourself. Okay, now this sounds just super positive and just ready to have like a great week, and everything's going to go in your direction. And you're probably sitting back and going, well, what the heck? What about all these layoffs that happened? Okay, so that is one of the reasons why the I Ching is a great thing to continue to reference so that you can get your life back on track and in harmony with what's going on with the energetics of the world. Because let's look at those layoffs, especially the ones in the tech sector. So this week is really great if you've been preparing yourself, if you've been setting yourself up to go to the next level. So if you've been putting in all this work to make sure that you're in front of everything, this is going to be a really good week for you. One of the biggest concerns in corporate America could be this concept of complacency. You know, you get so good at being successful that you kind of sit a little bit on your laurels. And, you know, one of the ones that I always look at as sitting a little bit on their laurels is Intel. So, Intel, they never thought that they needed to do multi-threading. And, you know, for those of us that worked on those big Unix systems, the concept of not needing multi-threading was just bizarre, even back in 2005. But they didn't think they needed to do that. And they thought, marrying up with Microsoft, they were going to be able to ride this storm out until the bitter end. And then, you know, what happened 4 years ago, they just got hammered. Just got hammered. Their processors couldn't stay up with anybody. And that put them really way behind the curve. And so then what happens is, being that they didn't plan, they were a little complacent, they ended up in a really bad position. And, you know, kind of like they're grabbing at straws. So all of a sudden they're going to make a graphics card and they're promising the moon. And instead of turning around and getting really focused on how can we multi-thread our main processors, they just started grabbing for things, hoping that something would, you know, pan out by just sheer luck. That's not planning. In the I Ching, that's not planning. That's panic. And so this week isn't going to support panic. And maybe, you know, we look at Facebook and Zuckerberg. He came out and he said, hey, I made a bad decision on this metaverse. And it was. And so that was a really painful decision for them. And so their planning didn't quite work out for them. And when it doesn't work out for you, when the planning doesn't work out, then you end up in this kind of situation where you potentially could have had a really good run. This could have been a really good week, but it's not, because you weren't positioned for it. So one of the reasons why I've watched or I read the I Ching is just to get additional insight on, you know, what's going on so that I can better prepare myself. And all these layoffs that just happen literally out of the blue in these really big tech companies. And, you know, I was reading an article on the tech companies and how they had promoted this family values and family culture. And, you know, how much of a betrayal these layoffs are to that narrative, right? Just an incredible betrayal. And I bring that up because we are in spring. We are coming into Valentine's Day. We're coming into that impression of the heart. And when the heart has been wronged, it's always about betrayal. So this could be a really good week, but if you're planning, if you didn't take into account what was going on around you and just kind of made sure that you were staying in the right track, then you don't win on this. You end up having to pay because you were going against the harmony of the world. You end up having to pay for it. And I think there's a lot of people, like 40,000 people, who are on the short end of this stick. And so I really feel for you guys, because this is a really brutal and hard thing to have to deal with because the whole industry is contracting and that doesn't leave a lot of options. So, I want you to listen to the I Ching and I want you to think about it. Technically, this should be a really good week. But if it was out of sync for you, then this isn't going to be a good week. You're not going to be able to reap the benefits of this week. And so if this isn't really going to be your super positive week, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to sit back and you're going to have to regroup. And you're going to have to take the energetics of these hexagrams and use them to the best that you can in order to set yourself up for the future. Let's go back and let's see what this week might ask you to think about. And I think one of the things that's going to come up is towards the end of this week, this need to start regrounding yourself and redoing some of your self-care, re-identifying what you need to nourish your mind, your body, and your spirit. To try and do that without panicking, right? Because layoffs are always really panicky. So to practice some of the meditations of Taoism, or to practice walking in nature, or if there's a hobby you like, to do that hobby, to do something, nourish your spirit, because now is the time when you're going to have to recoup and you're going to have to start taking care of yourself. Do not neglect yourself, because if you neglect yourself, you won't be able to see your next option. Okay? So, for some of the corporations out there, this is going to be a rough week for them because they've been so out of balance with the harmony of the world, that a lot of people are having to pay the price on that. And one way that corporations get out of balance is through really great success. And with really great success, you think you're doing everything right. And so if you're doing everything right, you want to hire and promote people who are just like you and who think just like you. And if they think opposite of you or challenge your thoughts, then they're not fitting in. And that's another way that corporations got really out of sync. Let's look at the first part of this week. So the first part of this week is movement. And so if you've suffered layoffs, the first thing is going to be movement. So move out to find people that you can trust, you value. It can be friends, it can be previous supervisors or managers, it can be co-workers, but reach out to those people that you think you can trust and start setting up a dialogue with them. So the first part of this week is really about moving forward, and that it's important to move forward, because if you don't move forward, then this hexagram, again, it's not going to help you, and it could make other things worse. And then after you move forward, as the week goes on, the next thing that you want to do is to realize that spring is coming. So the next thing is getting your mindset in the right position. And so spring is coming. Things are going to start growing again. There is going to be blessings coming forward. So you started reaching out to your people. You're going to take a little bit of patience now, and you're going to acknowledge where things are right now, and you're going to continue to move forward. And part of that is going to be with activity forward to where you think you want to go in the future. And then the end of this week, make sure to slow it down, come back to yourself and nourish yourself and just review what happened in this past week and see what you like about what happened, what you think maybe didn't help you, because at the end of this, there is, throughout this whole week, there is this thing that you have to make sure that you are working with people you trust. And so review what happened at the end of this week. Make sure you like your results. Make sure you think that you're working with people that you trust. Okay, so that's the forecast for this week. It's been tough, but remember, spring's coming. Everything's going to work out. We just got to stay focused. We've got to use the energetics that are out there right now, and we're going to set ourselves up so that we're back in harmony with the world and that we're giving ourselves the best opportunity to have the best outcome.